Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy you've hung around for our guest just moments away. First of all, spiders are our friends in the garden, but no one wants spiders in their homes, and Rescue has the product in which can eliminate them from your house.
That's right, and they become more active as spring arrives. They resume mating, and last year spiders' eggs will hatch as they thaw out or find new homes. You can use Rescue spider traps to keep them at bay in your house or garage and sheds. Rescue spider traps come pre-assembled in a hard plastic shell. A much thinner and sleeker design can be tucked under furniture or in other tight spaces. They're also more discreet than other spider traps. The trap is dark in color, so trap spiders are not easily seen. Scientists discovered dots of glue are better for trapping spiders. The other sheets of glue out there trap spiders along just the edges, and they have to be thrown out sooner. So the dots of glue help the spiders stick better. They have the glue dot technology. So just like the other Rescue spider products, their spider traps are made in the USA.
Yay!
You're going to go to rescue.com to find out more information and where to buy.
Control the spiders in your house, but let them be in the garden. Let's go to the hotline, Holly, and bring in our guest for this week.
Dylan Bruce is the head of the breeding network of Seedlinked and the Seed Partner Business Development Lead. He grew up on a CSA farm in southwest Wisconsin and has worked within the food system since. You can find out more at seedlinked.com. Welcome to the program, Dylan.
Thank you. It's great to be with you today. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, you're very welcome. Now, total disclaimer, Seedlinked is a sponsor of the program, so I want to get that transparency out. But for people who are not familiar with this, what is Seedlinked? And to start out with, it's an app for your mobile device, and I'll let you take it from there.
That's right. Yeah, Seedlinked is actually a web and mobile app for gardeners and farmers to find seed, track, and review their plantings, and participate in citizen science programs for breeding and trialing vegetables, and also to communicate with other growers. So Seedlinked connects people sort of throughout the seed supply chain, from plant breeders to seed companies to growers to chefs and other eaters. And when everyone contributes their data and feedback on a common platform, from how well a variety resists to disease to how it yields, how good it tastes, everyone can really make better decisions. So what's unique about Seedlinked, I think, is that our seed search engine is backed by data from other growers, so that people can really reliably choose the varieties that are best for their context. It's also a super easy app to track and review your plantings to share with other growers. So sort of like Kayak guides travelers to their right flights for their needs, Seedlinked can help growers find the right variety for them and help them track and compare over time.
So essentially, if Holly and I are growing a variety of leaf lettuce that we think is really good, and we find and we grow it and it's miserable and it's no good, we can rate that on your app. And if other growers around us rate that as a negative or bad type of plant, then somebody in Nebraska can look at it and go, they're kind of in the same region. Maybe I don't want to grow this. Is that how this can, in a worry?
Yeah, that's really exactly right. But, it may be that same variety of lettuce that doesn't do well for us here in Wisconsin does great out in California or in the Southeast, say. So it really helps identify those sort of pockets of regional adaptation for varieties to really, it's truly a recommendation engine where, it's really fitting something to your context. And that's really based on a crowdsourcing principle where really it's the growers coming together to build this communal knowledge and this sort of collective intelligence to be able to make better decisions.
And from what I understand of the app, this is completely independent because, as you know, and Holly and I know, if you are a seed company, you're going to try to make your seeds look better than other people and kind of shy and push away and maybe not make the negative ratings so visible in a dirty way. But with the Seedlinked app, what it is what it is. There's no hiding of anything. It's true fact.
That's right. So the growers own their own data on Seedlinked. It's not like some other things where you're, giving the data away. So it truly is the growers' reviews and perspective that shine through. And so Absolutely. It's if something doesn't do well, that's going to show up there. You can see those 1-star reviews, but when you're a grower, that's just as important to know. And it doesn't mean that seed company's variety isn't a good fit somewhere in the country, but it just might not be right for you. And so, actually, growers, when they're looking for new varieties, they can filter by, say your USDA hardiness zone to see reviews that are from a similar context. And really, it's dedicated to bringing sort of transparency and efficiency to the seed purchase process because, and we have over nearly 20 seed companies participating now. So almost all of those are listing their catalog on the seed search engine that growers can really be searching across multiple companies on one platform. So I think it might surprise some listeners to realize that really vegetable seed is sold under the same model as it was in the 1800s, which is a seed company catalog model. And even though we have online sales now, when you go to look for the right seed for you, you're looking at individual companies' offerings. And you have to, whether it's dog-earing the corner of a seed catalog or flipping between websites, you do have to flip back and forth between the companies, and it makes it difficult to compare the traits that they say their varieties have, see what's in stock where, and compare prices if you need to. And so our platform brings all the companies together on one site so that you can easily search and look at those actual grower reviews that back up the data. So I like to contrast it to really any other consumer good. If you think about it, where let's say a listener wants to buy a new backpack. They can go on any number of websites, search across hundreds of companies in one place, look at the features, see how things are backed up by the reviews, and seamlessly buy from multiple companies in one place. And that's sort of the new norm in our world. So why not for seed? Because the thing is, the stakes are even higher with seed, because if you choose the wrong backpack, you can go return it, get a new one, try again. But if you choose the wrong variety of seed to grow in your garden, you might not have another chance until next season. So really the stakes are a lot higher.
Yeah, you can't dig up that lettuce and send it back to the seed company and go, hey, can I get a refund on this? Just doesn't work so well.
That's right, if only. Yeah.
So you are definitely very passionate about people having access to a variety of seed choices. Why is that important? I mean, aside from what you just mentioned about, buying the backpack, returning the backpack, you can't really return the seeds. But why is it important that we have access to the variety of different seeds just in general?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really important issue. It's important that growers have access to quality seed and the information about those choices that go with the seed for many issues. So, think about perhaps a good example of the utility of Seedlinked here is when basil downy mildew showed up, right? So, none of the varieties that we could grow are resistant to it. I mean, I could barely get a harvest of basil at the same time as a tomato. And that's sort of a medium urgency case, but not as bad as, the year that maybe a Nelson carrot was dropped and I was left there like, shoot, that was our best carrot that we grew. Now what do I grow? So whatever the cause, if it's purely for fun and exploration, sometimes we all got to grow something new in the garden, right? And so you need options out there, and you need information that goes with it to help guide a decision and make an informed decision. It's equally important for the seed companies to get that feedback and know how their products are performing. So we're all kind of familiar, with the story of consolidation in the seed industry, the really big mega corporations that people like to point their fingers at, and those companies absolutely have a place for breeding the production varieties that they do, but there's actually sort of a U-shaped trend. So it's not just consolidation and big players. There's actually increasing numbers of small, regionally focused seed companies that, focus on the story of the heirlooms that they carry, or maybe a particular region. Maybe they really focus on things that do well in the Great Lakes region. So these seed companies maybe don't have as much visibility as they deserve yet, and they're out there increasingly popping up, these smaller companies, because there is a demand for this regionally adapted seed. So by supporting these varieties and seed companies that are maybe a little smaller, maybe a little less known or unique, we're preserving that diversity of seeds available for future generations, and we're putting that money back into our region, or rather than a big corporation. And that really is part of the sense of community on Seedlinked, of really having the story of the seeds live on, even to the extent of every review that is submitted about a variety is really part of that living, evolving seed story. So it doesn't just stop at the catalog description. It goes beyond that to, let's see what people in our neighborhood have said about it. Because of course, if we know how their experience was with a variety, it's really going to help us decide whether or not to grow it. Yes, so that's one of the things. And as climate change or new pests and diseases, or even changing preferences, like a different flavor profile that's preferred by people, it helps to have those options out there, and then it also helps to catalog them efficiently in one place and be able to really search across the options. I mean, for goodness sake, there's over 5,000 varieties of tomato available online today. So how do you even begin to sort through those and really see? No individual person, it would take a lifetime of trialing. No individual person can do that, but together we can come together, build a healthier food system that really starts with the seed, with this shared and connected data.
Yeah, definitely. So we're talking with Dylan Bruce, the head of the breeding network of Seedlinked, and just as you were talking about, having the variety, I don't know if you want to touch quickly on the importance of seed biodiversity and why we want to keep that biodiversity as opposed to over time eliminating it down, and why we want to have that variety versus growing, or I'm saying like growing what maybe our grandparents grew, and maybe we don't grow what our grandparents grew. What is the importance of that biodiversity, and why do we want to continue that tradition?
Yeah, absolutely. I can take a stab at that. It's funny that you mentioned what our grandparents grew, because actually, in a sense, that's one of the things that we're really trying to preserve, is those historical foodways and maybe the older varieties. So, if we harken back to times past, there were many independent, regional, even state level, and many seed companies in each state really serving the particular needs of those growers. Because, for instance, our needs here in the Midwest are very different than the needs of growers out in the Central Valley of California. And yet, because that's the largest seed market, because so many vegetables are grown out there, they have an outsized influence on what is offered through seed catalogs. And that means that over time, as there's been consolidation, and really, we've moved towards this very much economy of scale in agriculture and even in gardening, what that means is that some of those varieties that did so well here in the Midwest aren't carried anymore, just because they don't do well in the Central Valley. But really, that's a problem of data in a sense, because it's not that there's no market for that variety. It's not that nobody wants it. It's that the market isn't big enough for that really big company to service. But if we can enable sort of the framework for these smaller independent seed companies to truly cater to the regional and niche needs, so environmental niche or a market niche of growers that they can be very closely in touch with, then we can preserve some of those varieties. And as we also evolve, and move forward to face new stresses in our gardens, perhaps because of climate change or whatever it might be, whether it's a new pest or disease, or maybe that tomato just isn't tasting as good as it used to with all the rain that we've been getting. That's when we start to look for new varieties. And if we don't preserve that diversity, it won't be out there when we need it. And when the seed companies are developing new varieties, those don't come out of thin air, right? They have to start somewhere, and they start with these old varieties that have some of the traits that they might want.
Absolutely. Well, Dylan, we greatly appreciate the time you've given us. Once again, will you tell our listeners how to get a hold of the Seedlinked app and desktop and the computer, how they can find all of that and where it's available at online?
Absolutely. So folks can download the Seedlinked app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and check it out that way. It's also online at seedlinked.com. And one thing I'd love to plug before we jump off here is our seed collection experiences, which are closing soon. And these are curated sets of varieties for a given crop, curated by an expert, whether it's Craig LaHouliere in North Carolina, who's a great tomato grower curating tomato collections, or Organic Seed Alliance doing some beginning seed saver collections. Folks can get these collections, you get the seeds, and then you also get to grow along with these curators. So it's a really great introduction to the Seedlinked, really learning how to use that critical eye to rate things in your garden. But we'd welcome anyone to jump in and use the seed search or just rate the plantings that they have anyways.
Well, Dylan, we greatly appreciate you taking time. We thank you so much. And again, Seedlinked on your mobile app store and online. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, and I hope everyone...
Hey there, gardeners. Thanks for checking out this segment of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. If you like what you've seen, you can search through the channel and find full in-studio videos of the entire show. If you want to go another route, you can search for it on your favorite podcast platform by searching the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show or the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, and you can download it and take it with you. You can check out all past seasons at our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the radio tabs at the top of the page. We thank you for joining us. We hope you've learned and enjoyed the show, the segment, and we'll see you next time.